Hey everyone, welcome back to MangaMinute. I'm thrilled to share my latest recap video with you. If you missed the previous one, no worries, just take a quick peek in the description below for the link. Now, let's dive right in and enjoy.
Amidst the bustling crowd gathered for the Sichuan assembly, a murmur of discontent spread. One onlooker pointed out a figure standing apart from the throng, noting the peculiarities that set him apart. The man in question was flanked by a group of female guards and accompanied by a woman, leading to some speculation about his character. Whispers began to circulate, with some suggesting that his presence at such a grand event, where the most prestigious sex showcased their prowess, seemed incongruous with his apparent demeanor. The crowd's murmur grew as another observer commented on the perceived inadequacies of the man's martial skills, dismissing him as a mere show of bluster rather than a worthy contender. Despite the critiques, a noticeable shift in the atmosphere occurred, particularly among the women in the city. Their reactions, marked by a mixture of admiration and subtle apprehension, created an unexpected sense of defeat among those who observed the scene. It was as if, despite their own readiness, the presence of this figure had already cast a shadow over their own prospects in the competitive assembly. As the officer observed Yeon-Myeong amidst the sea of martial artists, he couldn't help but note the striking presence of the young man. The officer's thoughts reflected a mix of intrigue and admiration. Yeon-Myeong's appearance stood out distinctly, even among the numerous young warriors present. Eager to understand more about this notable figure, the officer decided to inquire about his background. In response, Yeon-Myeong calmly introduced himself, revealing his identity as Tang Yeon-Myeong, the young master of the esteemed Sichuan Tang Family. His composed demeanor and clear articulation of his lineage only served to enhance the impression he had already made on those around him. At Manhwa Hall, Yeon-Myeong received a report from her subordinate. The news was clear. The young master of the Tang family had arrived. The subordinate confirmed that Yeon-Myeong had registered his name on the participant list early that morning and had proceeded directly to his quarters. Yeon-Myeong, with a resolute and somber expression, acknowledged the update. She decided to allow Yeon-Myeong to rest for the time being, her thoughts already turning to the future. The weight of her resolve was palpable as she contemplated her next move. With a grim determination, she vowed to avenge the grudge and eliminate the arrogant young master. Mak In-juk, observing the dangerous and bandit-ridden terrain, shook his head in disapproval. He noted the reckless nature of the lone traveler who had ventured into such perilous territory. With a sense of relief and concern, he approached the young woman, acknowledging the fortune of their encounter. His gaze was filled with a mix of worry and attentiveness as he examined her condition, ensuring she was unharmed. The first encounter between Yeon-Myeong and Mak In-juk unfolded during a time of turmoil and desperation. At the time, Yeon-Myeong was surviving as a concubine to a high-ranking military officer, a life marked by degradation and insignificance. The officer, who had a peculiar hobby of collecting martial arts manuals, met an untimely death in an accident. In her quest for a new beginning, Yeon-Myeong seized one of these manuals, the Red Lotus Flame Art, and fled, a decision that led her to Mak In-juk. Their paths converged, and a bond quickly formed between them. Mak In-juk, a member of the Wudong sect, took Yeon-Myeong under his wing and imparted the basics of martial arts to her. With these fundamentals mastered, Yeon-Myeong immersed herself in the practice of the Red Lotus Flame Art. However, her newfound hope was overshadowed by a tragic fate. Her health began to deteriorate, as if an incurable disease had taken hold of her. Recognizing the inevitable decline and unwilling to burden Mak In-juk with her suffering, she chose to leave him behind. As time passed, Yeon-Myeong heard of Mak In-juk's rise to prominence as the head of the Great Darkness Silent Sword sect, his power growing steadily. Despite her worsening condition and relentless pain, she was haunted by her regrets. The agony of her illness and the weight of her unfulfilled desires kept her from finding peace, even as death approached. In a moment of despair, Yeon-Myeong's thoughts drifted to a singular wish, to see Mak In-juk one final time. Her body was failing her, and the agony she endured was a constant reminder of her unresolved regrets. At that crucial juncture, Mak Injuk arrived accompanied by another figure, his face etched with concern. Mak Injuk's eyes fell upon Yeoseal Ryan, who lay on the brink of death. The sight of her in such a dire state was shocking, considering the talent he had once recognized in her. The other figure, Ryan Ju, assessed the situation with a calm yet professional demeanor. He explained that Yeoseal Ryan's condition resulted from the conflicting energies of the yin and yang martial arts she had practiced. This internal conflict had led to the gradual decline of her vitality and overall health. Ryan Ju suggested that if Yeoseal Ryan wished to live, she needed to recite the formulas of the martial arts she had learned. This was a critical moment, as it presented a slim hope for her survival amid the relentless grip of her illness. Was it a stroke of fate? Hypnotized by Ryan Ju's words, Yeoseal Ryan mustered the strength to open her mouth and begin reciting the formulas she had learned. Her voice, though weak, persisted as she chanted the intricate verses. Listening intently, Ryan Ju, with his profound knowledge, processed the formula. In less than half an hour, he had crafted a new version of the Red Lotus flame art. This modified version was specifically designed to harmonize with the yin energy of a woman, like Yeoseal Ryan, allowing her to utilize the martial art effectively despite her condition. Carefully writing down the modified formula, assessed the formula with a focused expression. After finishing, he was satisfied that it should work. The revised version of the Red Lotus flame art was tailored to Yeoseal Ryan's unique energy, offering a potential path to recovery. He assured himself that if she practiced diligently and reached a high level of mastery, the accumulated internal injuries would naturally begin to heal. This new version was more than just a remedy. It was a lifeline, a chance for Yeoseal Ryan to overcome her dire condition and regain her strength. The man who had offered Yeoseal Ryan a new chance was Yu Gil-jun, the formidable leader of the Black Death Alliance who ruled over Sichuan. To demonstrate her gratitude for Ryan Ju's life-saving intervention, Yeoseal Ryan founded the Transforming Heart sect and allied herself with the Black Death Alliance. Her decision was influenced by the fact that Mak Injuk was also part of this alliance, fueling her hope to rekindle their past relationship. Yeoseal Ryan's integration into the Black Death Alliance not only marked a new chapter in her life, but also symbolized her commitment to both her new path and the lingering connections of her past. Yeoseal Ryan remembered Mak Injuk's words with a mixture of regret and understanding. He had sought her out once more, not driven by past emotions, but because of her remarkable talent. Mak Injuk's heart had drifted far from Yeoseal Ryan's reach, more than she had ever anticipated. She could not hold him accountable for this distance, recognizing that she had been the one to leave first. Nevertheless, she was determined not to let this chance slip by. Yeoseal Ryan chose to suppress her personal feelings, clinging to the hope that someday Mak Injuk would understand her sincerity. However, when news of the Great Darkness Silent Sword Sect's annihilation reached her, it marked a turning point. Resolute in her decision, Yeoseal Ryan vowed to kill Tang Yeon-Myeong, the young master of the Tang family. Despite knowing the difficulty of confronting him, even with her mastery of the Red Lotus flame art, she was undeterred. She planned meticulously, awaiting the Sichuan assembly to execute a strategy that would ensure Tang Yeon-Myeong's inevitable downfall. This plan was set with the determination of a complete and absolute destruction. The familiar spirit observed Yeon-Myeong's unwavering concentration with growing frustration. Despite the relentless mental disruptions it had inflicted for over an hour, Yeon-Myeong remained immobile, an unyielding focus that was almost supernatural. The spirit marveled at the boy's discipline, finding it hard to believe he was merely a youth. His level of concentration was more befitting an ancient master. Meanwhile, Yeon-Myeong was deeply engrossed in his mental training, grappling with a significant realization. Despite his previous success in vanquishing 70 adversaries with a single strike, he acknowledged that the true power of the eliminate technique had not been fully realized. The technique's effectiveness was hampered by its current integration with the green heart poison technique, resulting in only a fraction of its potential being unleashed. In his past life, he had mastered a mental technique known as destructive force, which was essential for unleashing the full power of eliminate. This technique, known for its debilitating effects on ordinary people, was a testament to the high level of control required to wield such power. Yeon-Myeong recognized that only those with exceptional talent, like his former master and himself, could harness the destructive nature of destructive force without succumbing to its harmful effects. Now, having reached the peak of his martial realm and with a strengthened body, he felt that mastering destructive force would allow him to reclaim the martial prowess he once held. He questioned whether his attachment to his sword had clouded his judgment, but dismissed this notion as irrelevant. Even though his current technique was degraded, he had still managed to manifest the essence of eliminate. The true issue lay in the misalignment between his current mental technique and his swordsmanship. He contemplated modifying the green heart poison technique to better integrate with his swordsmanship, aiming to overcome the limitations and enhance his martial capabilities. Yeon-Myeong opened his eyes with a sharp intensity, his demeanor indicating that he had been deep in thought rather than resting. He called out to Mirio with a sense of urgency, signaling that it was time to act. Mirio, initially startled by his sudden awakening, was taken aback by his keen awareness. She responded with a mixture of surprise and readiness, indicating that they were prepared and simply awaiting his command. Young, observing the interaction, voiced her concern about Mirio's casual treatment of Yeon-Myeong. She questioned the propriety of such a relaxed attitude towards someone of Yeon-Myeong's status, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a proper demeanor. Mirio, however, dismissed Yeon-Myeong's concerns, arguing that Yeon-Myeong had not expressed any discontent regarding the way he was treated. As tensions rose, Yeon-Myeong intervened to address the matter. He supported Yeon-Myeong's point, acknowledging the need for proper conduct. Despite the underlying discord, he emphasized that concerns about dignity were irrelevant in the face of the imminent dangers they faced. Yeon-Myeong's grim resolve was evident as he declared that their primary focus should be on confronting the threats ahead. He conveyed that, given the circumstances, there was no need to worry about formalities when facing formidable foes. With a determined tone, he warned that he intended to exact a significant retaliation against Mirio who had wronged them, pledging to pay back any grievances tenfold.